Hi everyone, I'm here with amazing life coach Adam Zargar, and today we're going to explore more the topic of confidence because this is the topic that interests everyone. So thank you, Adam, for joining me. I'm super excited for this. So first, I would like you to just tell us a little bit more. How would you define confidence? What is confidence? And
yeah, I think confidence is that inner feeling, that almost that belief and certainty about your life. I think it's not having a grey area. It's about going, I can achieve what I want to achieve, and I'm going to go getter. And I think it's really important to know that it's not about being afraid of making mistakes or failing. Failing is a key ingredient to success.
So, what are some of your examples from your personal life? If you say, I'm confident.
To be honest.
I'm a confident person. So can you give us one example where you feel confident and maybe how you overcome lack of confidence?
Look, if you see me, a decade ago in my first coaching clients, or you saw me in my first year of teaching, or the first time I spoke to even a group of young kids, it was quite an embarrassing moment. If someone recorded that, it would have been quite embarrassing. And I think confidence to me is when you can embrace those and still push forward, knowing that you've got the big vision of where you want to get to, and you're going to suffer setbacks, people are going to laugh at you, and you just go anyway. The first time I spoke as a teacher in front of young children, I stuttered and I almost stopped. I wanted to run away. I just kept on going, and then 7 years of teaching led to a decade of coaching. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just about going forward and moving forward. What about you?
If I have to think of some examples, I think even moving to UAE and Dubai and taking a job, I was confident because I knew I had the knowledge about child development and teaching, but I always tell my students, because I train teachers as well, and I tell them when I came I didn't know any songs in English. So I accepted the job, I jumped into it, and then I spent the evening on YouTube learning, the Itsy Bitsy Spider and ABCs and all songs in English.
Those songs now.
And so I just had to do it. And I felt confident that I know, and every week I was learning every day new song. And it was just a growing experience for me. So I think it's just about jumping as well and doing it.
And I think that's an important point, probably like you did, Nevena, is and certainly for me when I quit teaching you, sometimes you just have to take the plunge. You need to burn the boat and then take the island. You need to say yes to things before you're ready. Because yes is, I've got my why, it's so powerful, it's a must, I must do it now. And the how will take care of itself if you want it enough. And I think that's probably one of the most important things.
Yeah, it can be scary. It is scary. It happened to me as well when I resigned my job and decided to move into coaching and counseling as well. So, but it really happened, and you just have to push through and go through it, definitely.
What would life be like if you just stayed comfortable the whole time? Yeah. And you stayed in your comfort zone? What would that do to your confidence, do you think?
Yeah.
What would it do?
I think we're just not growing, I think, yes, we have this fear of doing something out of our comfort zone, but then when we achieve it, we change the self-image of ourselves and belief of who we are and what we can do, and this builds up our confidence over time. So Adam, going back to relationships, you work a lot with children, teenagers, coaching. So how would you define someone who is a confident spouse, confident husband, or confident wife? How would you define a confident person in a relationship?
I think being confident in your relationship is the ability to say no sometimes and to put yourself first. If you're not confident, you're just going to give in to whatever your partner says, even if you don't agree with it. And what that will lead to is resentment. I know I've had it in past relationships before I grew the confidence to say, no, that's not what I want. Yeah. As long as you say it in a very respectful way. So I think you've got to be able to say no. You've got to be able to put yourself first sometimes. I always say put yourself first, then your relationship, and then if you've got kids, your kids next. I think it's really, really important. Yeah. What would you suggest?
I agree. I feel sometimes in a relationship we just, we want the relationship to work, so we give up on things we like, but then over time, this happens to me, over time, you just lose who you are. because you cannot recognize yourself anymore, and you lost your confidence, you lost who you are, because you're not standing up for what you truly believe and how you want to be treated. So I think sometimes we just get into this relationship and maybe we blame ourselves, but we need to just make sure to go back on track, not judging ourselves, just letting it go and rebuild our confidence again.
And I think that's why people fall in love with each other in the first place, is they fell in love with you for doing the things you were doing before the relationship. Why stop?
Yeah.
Keep doing them and you'll keep renewing that love. So do the things you've always done and keep doing it through the relationship. It's probably one of my key points in that, I imagine for you would fall in love with a guy who is really, really super confident, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah? And if they suddenly lost that, what would that do to attractiveness levels?
Yeah.
What would it do?
It's like not someone... I believe in a relationship we want... I believe some of us, we have believed that, I'm a half and I need my better half or other half. No, we have to be whole, and then it equals 2, 3, or later on, who knows. But I think we need to really work on building ourselves, and then when you're happy, you just want to share that happiness with someone. So I think that's the whole point of a relationship.
So happiness in a family or happiness in a relationship starts with you.
Yourself.
It always does. You can't seek happiness and confidence from outside external things. That would just be temporary. It's got to start within you. You're responsible for your human needs and your buckets. No one else. They can come and they can overflow it.
Yeah. So let's move to another topic. How would you now define, we both work with parents.
Yeah.
And how would you define a confident parent? How does the confident parent looks like to you?
I think a confident parent, what they look like is that person who doesn't care what the other parents are saying. They've got their structure, they've got their vision, they've got their purpose, and they're not just going to conform with the other people. As a new parent myself, I allow my child to cry, to self-soothe when they go to bed. And some parents, when they come around, go, your parent's crying, and they'll grab them and they'll try and hold them. And it's being confident enough to say, you know what? I've got a vision for how I want my child to be. I want them to be independent, responsible, and confident. And I'm doing this not because I'm trying to hurt them or harm them. I'm actually doing them a favour in the long term. I'm taking a bit of short-term pain by letting them cry, knowing the long-term vision is they're going to be independent. They don't need me. They can fall asleep on their own. They can rest. They can relax. They can comfort. Because I may be, but I'm probably not going to be there forever in life. So I want my child at an early age to experience that. So going back to it, it's being able to say, look, respectfully, I'm not judging the way you parent, it's right for you. The way I want to do it and the way my spouse wants to do it is X, Y. So I'm going to stick with that and being okay with that. And that's quite hard in practical, but I think it's important.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I think we are just so afraid of being judged, and we have so many people around us, sometimes extended family and friends, and everybody giving you advice of how you should parent and what you should do, and they don't even sometimes do a great job. They kind of want to help you, but they're not. So even when you're in a restaurant, your child crying, and you feel stressed because...
We're on the aeroplane.
You're embarrassed because your baby is crying. It's just a baby. Why are we so afraid? This is the lack of confidence, that other people will be upset or judgment. It's a child, it's a baby, and everybody who been through it, they understand it, and we should have understanding for this. So I absolutely agree with that on this point.
Is there any other points that you've got that would help?
I think that also being confident I think it has to do a lot with worrying. I work, this is the number one topic I work with parents, is to stop worrying too much. And I think it goes hand to hand with confidence, because I think it's very important for them to understand why they worry, where their worry is coming from, and also understand that we all make mistakes, but not beat yourself for those mistakes. And then you build a confidence that you are actually doing a great job. It's that, I would definitely say.
And being a calm, confident parent who's allowing their children to make mistakes, embracing it.
Absolutely.
And being truly calm is going to lead to a very, very truly calm and confident teenager in the future, which is only going to aid. That's what you want them to be. Yeah. So you've heard the term helicopter parent. I get a lot of parents who are going, my son's going to miss school, he's not doing his homework, and they'll come in, they'll fly in, and they'll land and they'll help. short-term help, because long-term you're setting them up for failure and a lack of confidence. Because when they get that grade, or it's partly your grade, is that really helping your child? So I think long-term is what I'm probably trying to suggest here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think looking into long-term. So now moving from parenthood, as you work a lot with teenagers, as they're growing and becoming teenagers, a lot of teenagers, they lack confidence. So what is something that you most do you usually see among teenagers when they lack confidence, and why so, and how they can build themselves in becoming more confident?
That's a good question. I think a lot of teenagers are going into their head. They're putting expectations of others and themselves, probably more themselves. And I think they just got to get away from their head and into their heart, have gratitude for where they are, and have love and appreciation for who they are. And every day they should literally say what they're grateful for, what they're in love about themselves for, and then make steps towards that person, the vision of who they want to be. They're not perfect now, you never will be perfect. Let go of that, because the head is killing you. Take simple strategies and take simple steps forward.
I absolutely agree. I think as a teenagers, we are going obviously through a phase where we are experimenting who we are. We want to belong in a group, so we have the tendency, teenagers have tendency to move towards the group. So parents usually, I suppose, come to you as well because they're not happy with how things are going, and their children goes to behavior they don't want, towards the groups they don't want them to belong to. And I think we just have to look into reason also why, but it is in a way normal that as a teenagers we're just discovering who we are and we are trying to build ourselves. Absolutely. So I definitely think that life coaching can help so much going through these important transitions.
And if you know your teen comes to you and they've made a mistake, it's really it's an opportunity for you to build trust and connection with your child. Yeah. Too often parents will fly off the handle because they've done something wrong, they've gone off. Even if they were growing and progressing and then suddenly they make a mistake, they would literally ruin it all by not pausing. Just overreacting and judging and coming harsh. I think honestly it's the space between the notes that creates the music. So take a step back, think of your vision with your child. What do you want? What's the opportunity here for you? Take your time and then come up. Yeah, of course you can hold them accountable and set consequences. I think it's important to say thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
It's really important for building connection. Yeah. And connection is the key to everything.
I love that you said the difference between reacting and responding, because so many parents, I work usually with parents of young children, and they come and I observe them, how they're with their child, they tell me examples, and I tell them, you're just reacting. They said, my child drives me crazy, or I will just have this temper, I don't know what to do, especially when you're dealing with a toddler or a young child. And I tell them, he's just a child, he's a toddler, you're the one that are not controlling your emotions, or you're the person who's not controlling yourself. So I ask them, step back, this is a child, they're exploring, they're experimenting, and you have to respond, not react. Control your emotions and think about bigger picture. What do I want to tell them? How do I want to behave, and what message do I want to send?
Very cool. And change takes time anyway.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're struggling to make changes, whether it's in any aspect, gym or whatever, imagine what it's like for a hormonal teenager or a younger child. It's going to be a lot tougher. So be more understanding. I think this is what we need to remember. Be understanding. Change takes time. Show love and compassion, and you'll have a confident person. Yeah.
So now to wrap up this session, why do you think confidence is so important, and how it affects our life when we don't have confidence?
Confidence is really, really, really important. It's part of emotional intelligence. You know, you have to be a very, very confident person within yourself, because then you're going to take opportunities. You know, you may go to an interview and not get it. Some people will give up. No, I want you to be a go-getter. I want to see that as just learning and an opportunity to grow from it. So you can still keep stepping up. And I think that's a really, really important thing, is to take the opportunities. Confidence can really help you do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think when it comes to parenting, because this is the niche that I'm mostly working with, parents sometimes don't even have a confidence of being a parent. You know, they're letting the child rule the house. And I ask them, okay, your toddler is your boss of the house. Your child will set the time how you go. They have toddler telling them, oh, you stay in the car, mommy will go here, daddy will go there, you know. And then the parents are they're lacking this confidence because they're afraid to just step up. And you have a confidence, like we talked in a relationship as well. And this is a relationship, parenthood is a relationship. You're able to say no, and you're able to be authority without being afraid, oh, I don't know, we're afraid of a person leaving us or not loving us anymore. So your children have to learn as well that you are a confident person, and it really affects parenting so much when you have a confidence to say no without feeling guilty, because most parents are feeling guilty when they say no to their children, or then the children crying or just trying to get what they want.
I think it's really important to have a belief in yourself. Have that confidence, really having that belief. Have that belief in you are a good parent, you are a good person, you are this, you can get this job. And with belief, the rest of it will take care of itself. So really focus on your belief and keep pushing forward. That's a mindset shift, and I think it's important we follow.
Yeah. I think it's something we have to work, and I believe that coaching is something that's going to become normal, like fitness is today. We all talking and having a fitness. So I think having someone to help you go through these situations, it's going to become part of our everyday life in the next 10 to 20 years. And why not? Because we should be there to help each other.
Coaching is not about problems. It never has been. It's just an opportunity to grow and learn, making 1 degree or 1% difference. It's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you, Adam, so much. It was a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned. Please feel free to share and post comments. Any questions you have, we're more than happy to answer.
Take care.